Welcome to Module 3. In this module, we will look at how learning materials can be used to encourage participation of all children. We will learn ways to encourage children to explore all types of toys and play materials. We will also discover ways to use pictures and stories to talk about gender roles and promote gender diversity. When play materials only appeal to one sex, all children miss out on important learning experiences. A variety of experiences with different play materials will help children to learn a wide range of skills. However, toys are often marketed as boys' toys or girls' toys, and this may limit what children play with. Some children may refuse to play with materials typically associated with the other sex or tease children who cross gender roles during play. For example, a girl pretending to be a race car driver or a boy pretending to be a hairdresser. Sex-specific materials may also influence children's understanding of different gender roles. If dolls are only for girls, children may think that caring for children is a role reserved for women only. Let's check with Sihle and Kosi to learn from the strategies they use to help encourage children to explore all types of toys and play materials. Strategy 1. To encourage mixed-sex play, combine play materials so that they have an element of interest for different children, and offer toys and play materials in a way that appeals to different children. For example, if certain learners share an interest, like animals, you can stimulate their involvement by using animal themes or learning materials. Encourage shy children to mix with others by choosing a quiet activity like looking at a book or playing with blocks. Where possible, avoid gender-stereotyped play materials that may only appeal to children of a certain sex. For example, you can buy or make a doll that can be any sex. If you name the doll, choose a name that is used for boys and girls. If you dress it in clothes, use a color and design that are not typically associated with either boys or girls. Another option is to make several dolls so that you provide variety. Different sexes, different ages, different sets of clothes. Strategy number 2. Encourage children to explore play materials that are typically meant for a specific sex. Boys may refuse to play with anything pink, while girls may claim pink toys as theirs. There is no need to avoid pink or blue. There are no wrong colors, but aim to use a range of colors. Always question children when they say things like only boys can play with cars or dolls are for girls. Ask them whether they are sure this is true. You can also ask other children if they know girls who play with cars or boys who play with dolls. Here are some ideas of how you can respond. For example, when a child asks if green is a boy color or a girl color, colors are just colors. You can like any color you want. Do you think there are colors just for boys and colors just for girls? Maybe colors are just colors and anyone gets to like whatever color they find beautiful. I think the world is filled with so many beautiful colors and that we all get to enjoy them. How sad would it be if someone weren't allowed to like a color simply because of their sex? Show children who may not have had much opportunity to play with certain materials how to use them to get started. Another way that gender stereotypes are reinforced is through pictures and words in storybooks and posters. This can influence children's understanding of different gender roles. The words used to describe characters in a book are often linked to gender stereotypes such as boys are naughty, competitive, strong, brave, ambitious, and clever, while girls are referred to as beautiful, sweet, good, and shy. Stories and pictures may convey certain professions as being reserved for a certain sex only. For example, a housewife or a nurse is typically depicted as female, while a doctor or a businessman is typically male. Transgender, non-binary, and gender non-conforming characters are very often missing from pictures and stories. So how can you use pictures and stories to talk about gender roles and promote gender diversity? We will explore 2 strategies you can use with Sihle and Kosi. Strategy number 1. Be aware of the gender sensitivity of books and pictures that you use. Before you use a storybook, pictures, or posters with children, you can determine how gender stereotypical or diverse the content is. There are 5 types of content areas normally found. 1. Explicit gender stereotypes. Examples of explicit gender stereotypes or traditional roles are traditional fairy tales with princes and princesses, stories or posters that show the mother at home looking after the children while the father is absent or at work, and pictures in commercial magazines promoting strong gender stereotypes, for an example, through pictures of showing strong men. 2. Subtle gender stereotypes. Some content stereotypes genders in a more subtle way. Example of content with subtle gender stereotypes or roles are a story with a brave male dog and a scared female cat, and a story with animal characters that are not explicitly identified as male or female, but are referred to by means of male or female pronouns. 3. Content that challenges gender stereotypes. Example of content that challenges gender stereotypes and contains gender non-conforming characters are a story about a brave girl who saves her brother from danger, a story about a child who has 2 men as parents, and a poster of a father who cooks for his family or takes care of a sick family member. 4. Highlights gender stereotypes. Examples of content that highlights or promotes gender diversity are stories or posters with a balance of characters who assume different gender identities, expressions, and roles, a boy that wants to wear a skirt and earrings, a girl asking to be called a boy's name and who prefers shorts instead of dresses. 5. Gender-neutral content. Examples of content that is gender-neutral and doesn't contain gender stereotypes are stories in which characters do not have a specific gender identity, and stories that do not assign stereotypical roles to one sex only. Let's move on to strategy 2. You can draw children's attention to stereotypes and role models and help them reflect on gender. Help children become more aware of books, posters, illustrations, or characters that confirm or challenge stereotypes and draw their attention to this. Display examples of non-gender conforming individuals or examples of cultures where gender is expressed differently than in a traditional binary, female or male terms. Encourage that children can do or be or like anything because they are individuals with hopes and likes and desires. This is not because they are boys or girls. Here are some questions you can ask children when reading stories or looking at pictures. What are the different children doing in this picture? Would you like to do this? What do you think about this? Is it always this way? Is it like that in our school? Is it like that in your home or community? Do you see this often? Would you like to be this person? Why? Why not? Would you want to do things differently? Thank you for joining us in this module where we looked at different learning materials that encourage participation of all children and learned ways to encourage children to explore all types of toys and play materials. We also discovered ways to use pictures and stories to talk about gender roles and promote gender diversity. I hope these tips and techniques have furthered your knowledge.